Hey everyone, welcome back. We've missed you. We've been really busy. I just had an oral exam and I passed with a 1. I'm so happy. A 1 is like an A if you don't know. So excited.
Yeah, you deserved it. You worked really hard. It's
my second A here. Today, since we're getting ready to leave Germany, I know, we're sad, you know. We thought we'd take some time and reflect on our time here in Germany. And we've really come to learn a lot of things by living here. And we thought we'd take this time to reflect on those with you and share what we've learned. So there's some that you probably will think are pretty obvious, but then at the end we're going to share 2 personal ones that really had nothing to do with living here. We just kind of learned in our time of living here.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes. So something I learned while living here was how to drive a manual car. Yay! I know, and that probably sounds really stupid to most of our German viewers, but in America, as I'm sure most of you know, we don't really drive manuals. You pretty much don't learn how to. They're pretty much not sold that often. They just don't really exist. But I like our manual car. It makes driving a little more fun to me, and well, it's certainly cheaper. So even now when we're moving back to the US, we're looking for a vehicle and we're looking for manuals just because we can drive them now, cool. And they're cheaper, and
I actually prefer them. When we went back this summer, Lucas's mom has an automatic van, so not the manual, not where you have to shift it, just does it automatically. And the first time I got in it, I put my
yeah, kind of pretend the clutch was there.
Yeah, I was thinking that the clutch was there, so I put my left foot on the brake and the right foot on the gas, and you should never do that. When you drive an automatic, you only drive with this foot for the gas and the brake. You don't use this foot. And Lucas is like, Ellie? And I'm like, oh yeah. And then I was missing shifting. I was like, this is so boring. I like shifting. Something I learned, and this is kind of something that just travel has taught me, is to be more open to new things. I don't know, in Germany, we got to go to the Weihnachtsmarkt, and I got to try Glühwein. You see everyone standing there, and there's this thing called Glühwein, and you're like, maybe I should try that. And we fell in love with it.
Or Met.
Yeah,
Met's a really big
Met.
one.
We, I don't know, we've never really had Met before, and then we tried it, and we loved it. And I think that loving these new things helps us be more open to trying more new things, so we just out of our little bubble, we get a little bit more adventurous and a little more and a little more. Not to say we were closed off before, but it's fun learning new things. And maybe sometimes you don't like new things. I tried one time, I had this fish bread with a fresh piece of fish, and I would a marinated one, and I would not do that again. But I learned from that, you know? Mm-hmm. Try new things.
I also really learned to appreciate public transport a bit more. And this is definitely I was kind of maybe sheltered growing up because I grew up in a small town where there wasn't...
But you had a bus. You had a public bus.
Most people in my hometown do not use the public bus unless you're a college student, because you already pay for the pass, and the buses go by a lot of the major apartments. So if you live off campus, it makes your life quite a bit easier. So that's when I really use the bus. And then a few usually people that can't afford to own a car and stuff. So public transport is not super common where I grew up. I totally understand that I did not grow up in a big city like New York City or any other major city that uses subway systems and all those kinds of things. So of course they don't take it so
it's not
for granted. Yeah, it's so normal to them, but for me it wasn't. And so getting to live in Germany and use the U-Bahn and the trains to get from Essen to Bochum or to Dusseldorf, or all that was very new to me, and I did enjoy it. I liked the simplicity of it, and I didn't mind not having a car for the first year we lived here. However, having a car did make my life easier all the same.
Yeah.
But public transport is pretty nice.
Something I learned, I'm an introvert.
I think we both kind of learned this.
We both are introverts. We both are just comfortable with ourselves. We don't have to interact with people. And we did have friends in the US. It's not like we were like completely antisocial. But like I think being in Germany, we learned how to be better hosts. Like my parents definitely didn't have people over to the house a lot. I don't know if yours did.
No, not really.
We never really learned like how to host friends over. So if you're our friends here, I'm so sorry that we have never invited you over. But now you know why. We just don't do it often. And I don't know. I think we've really taken advantage of like now that we're in like the last few months of being here, we're like, oh, we have to visit them and we have to visit them. And you know, we're just like making all our trips to visit all these people, which we didn't really do in the beginning. We were just kind of comfortable being here by ourselves. Yeah. And now we're like, oh, but I want to see them. Like we realize that we actually value making an effort to see them.
Next one, and we've talked about this in so many videos, I couldn't even link them all here if I wanted to, but of course, we really like health insurance. It's really nice. And having grown up in the US where, as we all know, it's a little bit more of a tedious matter to deal with, I really appreciate how nice it was to deal with healthcare here, how simple it was, how like all covering it is. It was just very nice. I'll miss it. I'm not gonna lie. I'll miss it, but we'll survive anyways.
Another thing that we've learned is how to take care of plants. And being here in Germany didn't necessarily help me take care of plants, but I don't know, a friend gave us a plant and normally I just somehow magically kill all plants. I give them too much water. I even test them to see if the soil's too wet, and usually it's not, but then they just die, and I don't know, I'm terrible with plants. But a friend gave us one of those like UFO plants. Are they from like the Chinese area?
Mm-hmm. They're from a small part of China. They're very normal in people's houses, but in the wild they're fairly endangered. They're not common anymore.
And that one was very, I mean, you were taking care of that one for a while, so I mean, hey, I didn't even learn how to take care of plants, that was you. But at least like I don't instantly kill them now. At least they have like a sustained life. I mean, when we lived in our old apartment in Stevens Point, we had a balcony, and I had a garden on our balcony in like those giant pots, and I had like some carrots, and they actually grew things. I had some baby lettuces, and
I also think me and Ellie kind of learned to value technology a bit more while living in Germany. And this is also a debate that we've had on the channel numerous times, so feel free to give, your thoughts and comments in a nice way down below. But like, it's just true, technology is not used as much in Germany, and that's like a double-edged sword in my opinion. It's nice because you appreciate like how things are done, you get to appreciate like nature more because you're not so like hung up on like all your social media all the time. I think there are definitely some great things about that. But I also miss having like Wi-Fi and the simple uses of technology all around, like in school systems. And even for most of the time we've lived in Germany, I've been paying for an extra large data plan on my phone just because I didn't have enough data to use while I was at work because they didn't have Wi-Fi there if I wanted to use my phone. So like, it's not a big deal. I think it teaches two like sides of like technology in a great way, but that's definitely something I learned to appreciate more.
But there are definitely areas where technology could be improved. For example, at my university, every time you are in a course, it doesn't like you pass a course, your exam is not automatically entered into like your transcript. And so this causes a lot of confusion. For example, I have a friend right now who's trying to do an exam, but she needs proof that she was in this course and the professors are answering to her, but it's like the specific course she was in is also not documented on her transcript. It's like, yeah, she took this like Wahlbereich, like she had to take a course in one of these areas, and she picked an area and it applies for her exam, but on her transcript it just says, yeah, you have a credit for this region of courses and not the specific course she needs. Like, the IT department at the university just, I'm done.
Thank you for coming to Ellie's soapbox.
All right. Something that you would probably be pretty proud of and you probably think is pretty necessary is like time off. And I think this is really stereotypical of the US. Like, we just work like 24/7. We work a lot. I don't think we really know the boundaries between work time and play time, especially as teachers, because in the US you teach for like 40 hours a week and then go home and like plan lessons and grade papers. So you're like teaching for like, I don't know, 12 hours a day?
Yeah, the US has a
Ridiculous.
rough line of work-life balance, that's for sure. But here you certainly don't.
So I think being here has kind of taught me that like, no, like when I want a personal health day, I'm gonna take a personal health day. When I'm like going on vacation, I'm going on vacation. When it's the weekend, I'm not working. I mean, I've violated those principles a little to do my master's, but I've also been kind of on a time crunch, so.
But I think we're much better off than if we never lived in Germany. I mean,
Yeah.
the funniest thing to me was still like when we first moved here and my boss, who I barely even knew, in a job I barely even understood, 3 months after we moved here, just up and vanished for almost all of August. And I was like, oh, so this is that like August vacation that I've always heard about, because he just, woof, gone. But now I understand why, and I appreciate it.
Yeah. It's been really good for our personal and mental health, so thank you, Germany.
Next up, and of course you can all understand this and appreciate this, is German bread is just mwah, amazing. And I will miss it because almost weekly I buy a whole loaf of bread here and eat it in the same day because it's just so good. And I'll miss my Laugenstangen and
Remember when you first moved here and you used to get the like little toast brot from like the grocery store in the bag?
that's because I liked it for toast. You make it sound worse than it is. Yes, I liked it for
Who
toast.
comes to Germany and eats the crap?
I liked it for toast.
Okay, I'm sorry he liked it.
I'm not going to toast a Laugenstangen. It's so good on
But
its
you
own.
can toast the
I don't want to toast that
flesh.
either because it's so good on its own. I like that it's fluffy and sweet and delicious. I don't want it crispy. No, thank you. So I will definitely miss the bread. There's like one like from scratch bakery, maybe a couple, where we're going back home to in the US, and they're fine, but they don't offer like all the variety and consistency that you have from like a Derba or a Kamps.
Backer, Peter,
or- yeah.
Kamps.
So I will miss those. Me and Ellie have even joked about opening up our own like bakeries to like bring the German experience, but I don't think I could ever do justice to your bread, and I would feel really ashamed about trying to say that I was. So I'll dream, but if any of you work for bakery companies and you want to be sponsored to come to America for some reason that I don't know, just get in touch. Yeah.
Before we get to our like two personal aspects, they're a little more fun. The one last point that we've really learned here is like how to deal with criticism, and I personally have a really bad relationship with criticism. I take it all personally because I don't know, no one's ever really taught me not to, and I don't know. I mean, I do realize that criticism is really like for your improvement, but there's some areas like I mentioned in my channel in this video linked up here that like some criticism here is useful. It's just I'm not really comfortable with like the upfront delivery of criticism. Like Americans, if like
Because we're soft Americans.
in the teaching profession though, we've also been taught this too. You give like criticism in like a sandwich, and you have like first a compliment, like, oh, I liked your text. I really liked your like view on this topic, and then criticism. I think you could have been a little bit more detailed about talking about this, or your grammar here could be better. And then another compliment. Overall, I really liked this word choice here. Like those adjectives are just brilliant, you know? Like you give criticism that way, and I'm used to that. But here I think it's also kind of taught me to be more comfortable with giving criticism to others. So I like that. So thank you, Germany, for teaching me to be more strong.
Okay, on to the fun ones. I'll start. So my funny one, and this is almost could just be its own, like, this could have fit with everything else, but for me it was learning to make Spacela. And it took us living here for 4 years for me to figure that out, even though Ellie had the recipe for all 4 of those years in her cookbook.
My mom has made it at home, so this is something I've known.
But I didn't. And it's so simple. And we have our Ellie
mom.
either had it or your mom gave it to us or something. We have a nice little Spacela maker. You pour the batter and you just go back and forth and it drops in the bowl. It's all so easy.
Not
and it tastes so yummy.
Not like in this video where you saw us putting it through a cheese grater.
That was fun though. So I learned how to do that. I really enjoy it, and it's such an easy way to make pasta. It tastes good, it's homemade, so it's fun. So I'm glad I learned that, even though I could have learned it at any time. But I feel special because I learned it while I was in Germany.
My thing that I learned is Lucas has like taught me how to play Minecraft. And now I'm really addicted to playing Minecraft. I don't know, it was just, my appreciation for video games has grown, and I love mining in Minecraft. There is nothing more relaxing than just chopping away at blocks and looking for coal or iron or copper. Copper is the prettiest. It's all in blue and pink. And
So good job, Germany, you did it.
And now with the, like, they have this new expansion mod, what do you call it?
Just an update.
They have this new update where now instead of just like your boring normal world, you can have like ravines and giant caves. The waterfalls are just so much fun. So much fun.
Germany taught you well.
I know.
It was all Germany. Good job. Okay, so there are our 10 plus 2 extra things that we've learned in Germany. For sure we've learned
a lot more.
Who knows how much more, like heck, we even learned how to dive and
hikes at Zugspitze. I've never hiked before in my life.
Yeah, so we learned a lot of things, and how could we say them all when we've been here for 4 years, but those are some of the more immediate things in our minds and things that I think will be like with us more clearly forever.
They're like, no, diving is with me forever.
Yeah, and diving.
But I think these are more like personal, like social, like society things that we've learned.
Right.
I don't know. All right, thank you for watching. Have a great week, and will we see them next week? Do we promise that we will have another video out?
No, I don't promise.
I don't want to promise.
We tried that last time too. We'll do our best though to be a bit more consistent. At this point, we're consistent every 2 weeks at least.
I'm so sorry.
Moving's hard.
It is. It takes a lot out of you.
Okay, bye-bye.